Yo, this is W Soul 13 bringing you Raid Shadow Legends. What is up, guys? So check it. It's the 2x drop frenzy for speed sets, right? Should you go all out and just empty out your gem stores and get all that speed gear, right? Two things are simultaneously true about this. One is that speed set is one of the best sets in the game. Hands down, no questions asked. Anybody that's played Raid will tell you speed is the need in this game, right? And the other part is also true that for majority of players, only a certain amount of speed per character is good. You know? So I'm gonna show you some dragon teams that you could work on. Alright. So first, I want to show you my fastest possible team right now, which could get faster once I get Cold Heart up. But this is the fastest team I could do in dragons right now. So let's take a look at the run and I'll explain to you the roles, okay? So of course, Dracomorph does the decreased defense. So decreased defense is always a key ingredient in a dragon team. When you build your dragon team, don't think of it as like, oh, this champ does this, right? No, think about it more like roles. You fill the roles, and then the rest is just making the run faster, you know? So the first is you got to hit the thresholds, right? And the thresholds are all about oh, see, Dark Lane already died. So the thresholds are all about the minimum you'll need to survive the run, you know? So that's 170 speed usually per character, enough HP, like 30 to 40k per character. You know, my Cold Heart actually only has 20k HP because it's still level 50. Alright, so that's like a minute runtime right there. And then you gotta have something that kills the boss, right? So it could be the enemy max HP damage when you're doing Dragons 20, alright? And then it could also mean poison in most cases. So you want a poisoner, right? I'm gonna teach you how to build a team right now for Dragons 20, alright? And how you can think about speed farming, you know, when you're kind of like in the lower tiers, especially if you don't have the amazing champs like Royal Guard or Cold Heart even, or Dracomorph. Alright, so let's do kind of a something that relies on let's try something different. All right, let's try something that is kind of like a progression driven. Oh, what's happening? My game froze. My game's been freezing lately. Oopsie. Yikes. Let's see if that worked. No, it did not work. So weird. There we go. They've been saying that the games have been freezing lately. We'll see. Anyways, check this out. Alright, so let's go back to Dragons 20 real quick. Before we do 24. Alright. 24 is obviously significantly harder to do than Dragons 20. So if my best runtime in Dragons 20 is a minute, my best runtime in Dragons 24 is 2 minutes. Plus the requirements to get through the waves are a little bit more nuanced, you know. So we're gonna be talking about that as well, because I know some of you are advanced in terms of your progression in the game. So let's start with the basics, okay? So your first Dragons team is gonna look a lot like this. Something like Gnarlhorn Kale, War Maiden, Haikatoon. Where my girl Haikatoon at? Haikatoon. I can probably use the speeds. And then we'll round the team out with Valerie. Probably is a decent choice. Okay, so this is what a kind of like a beginner team would look like. Okay, when you're first running through dragons, and it's you got your wave control. So how do you decide on how to tweak your team, right? To tweak your team, you have to answer two questions. Are you dying in the waves, or are you dying in the boss fight? If you're dying in a boss fight, your poisoner needs more accuracy, so you gotta clear the 200 accuracy barrier, and also needs more HP. That's basically it. So you need the 170 speed minimum for everybody. It needs to be on 170 speed or higher, right? Speed booster is at 200 or higher. And most of the time, everybody's gonna be on lifesteal set, you know. But that's not necessarily the case all the time, right? So especially once you get later into the game and you can get better gear. But when you first start, everybody's going to be on lifesteal and speed or accuracy or perception, right? Once you hit your thresholds, then you can get a little bit fancier. You can start adding crit rate, crit damage, you know. You can start building stun set, reflex set, you know, things that'll make your runs more efficient and closer to 100% success rate, okay? So what is this team focused on? This team is focused on getting through the waves first, and then getting Kale to the boss fight so Kale can do his thing, right? And honestly, this team is very reasonable to build. You can build this early, and it's gonna be successful for you, okay? And I don't even recommend going for Valerie early. Like in my recommended team building guide, I have Valerie for much later. Like when you actually go up against Doom Tower is when I suggest you first try to get her. But you know, it's different because a lot of people have very different kind of like luck with the game, right? So a lot of people might not get a carry champ at any point, you know, and maybe Valerie is the best they can come up with. That's fine, perfectly fine to bring her up because you're going to use her for Doom Tower anyway, because you'll need 2 shield champs for Doom Tower if you don't have any of the great shield champs or great solo champs for Scarab King. So here, Gnarlhorn is dead, but he's already done his job because we've already gotten through the waves, alright? So don't worry about people dying as much as people just performing their job. So Gnarlhorn's job is to get us to the boss. Essentially, he's gotten us there. So, and he in particular actually pairs well with an actual healer, like an apothecary, you know. So a good upgrade spot here would be apothecary for Haikatoon, right? So once you get to the boss, that's where Kale is going to shine, you know, because Kale can practically solo this guy if you build him correctly. So if you build him with a ton of HP, 40k-ish, 30, 40k-ish, good enough defense, like 1500 is good enough. Good speed, 170 minimum. Accuracy, you just gotta have accuracy. So 200 is bare bones minimum for accuracy, right? You build him like that, you're going to kill Dragon, and he can do it by himself. He has to be in War Master, though. War Master and Lifesteal set. So War Master Lifesteal is your initial kind of like GG cheesy combo that you got to do, right? So the reason why we're doing the basic stuff right now is because we're actually using the same concepts to get through the next wave, right? So to wrap up quickly, because this fight is going to be over in a few seconds, right? If you're having a hard time in the waves, you want control, you want carry, okay? So you want two things. You want control, carry, okay? If you're dying in the boss, your poisoner needs to get a lot tougher. So more HP, more accuracy, while keeping the speeds 170-ish, you know. You can fall a little bit lower than that, but 170 is a very good number to try. See, everybody's dead. But Kale, still alive.